we are live. Yes, we are. We're live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube Shorts. We're live on Twitch. And now I just gotta get the lives going on. Oh, thumbnail for the vertical live. Not a super big priority, but I'll fix that real quick. I can remember how I can fix that. Edit. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I have the correct one now. Okay, guys. So, welcome to the stream. I am Warners, and a couple days ago, Wizards of the Coast came out with an update to their Psion class that I am very excited for. I definitely liked the old version, but definitely it needed some changes. I felt like um even though if you compare it to the really old Scion playtest they had like almost 8 years ago, this was definitely simpler than that one, but I think there was still a little too much going on. Honestly, I have a whole stream where I reacted to the original one. So you can probably look at that to get exactly what I said, because I forget everything I forget the exact opinions I had. So I'm gonna kind of read this with my memory of how it used to be, and but mostly take it as it is, if that makes sense. But I have the old document for reference just in case we need to look up something specific. And then yeah. Um they obviously have notes. They're not always very reliable though. They have notes of what they changed. In the old document, they also had these wild talent feats. They don't have that in this. So we're going to be going over the Scion base class, the subclasses, 3 of them, Metamorph, Psykinetic, and Telepath. Oh, they got rid of one. That's good to know. So the Metamorph, Psykinetic, and Telepath. And then they had the Psy Warper. Okay, my theory is for the Psy Warper, either they felt like it was good enough or they got rid of it, because it could either go both ways. They've gotten a lot of criticism lately for having too many teleporting subclasses. And so I could see them potentially having a teleporting subclass with this and getting that criticism. I could see them specifically trying to steer clear of that. Oh, by the way, for some reason, the chats aren't. Oh, wait. Yeah. Yeah, the Mystic is what I was referring to earlier. I never actually activated these yet. Okay, let's get this activated. Okay. Activate selected. Okay, so the chat should be all good to go now. Everything teleports at this point, yeah. I could see them putting some of the Psy Warper abilities into the Psykinetic. And then there's the spells. So we got 3 subclasses and then the spells. A lot of the spells are updated spells and some are new. They are spells I really like, and some of them they nerfed a bit. And so let's just go through it, guys, okay? Okay, so how to playtest UA, power level, yeah, we know all that stuff. What's they they'll probably get to it, but I don't see a lot of notes at the beginning here. of what they changed. Oh, okay. Okay, so let's just read it. Psion wield magic and extraordinary powers through the power of thought. They develop their minds as fonts of power that manifest spells and grow stronger over the course of. Yeah, their flavor text isn't going to really change much, so I don't really care about reading that. Well, let's go to the core Psion traits. We have intelligence as their primary ability score. Makes sense. We have D6 hit die. Yep. Saving throws, intelligence, and wisdom. Pretty sure that was the same. Yep. Skill proficiencies: Arcana, Insight, Intimidation, Investigation, Medicine, Perception, and Persuasion. Yep. Weapon proficiency is simple. Yeah. Armor training, none. And their starting equipment. That's probably all the exact same. Okay. As a level 1 character. So there's some notes here, and I'm going to go ahead and go over the. I'll read this first, though. And then multi-class rules, whatever. Okay, Psion class features. As a Psion, you gain the following class features when you reach the specified Psion levels. These features are listed on the Psion features table. Oh, how you doing? I got some new people in. CJ, Levi. So I'm pretty sure they just the wild talent feats. I'm pretty sure just did well. So my guess is that they just chose to not have them in the playtest, in the second playtest, because they already did well. So I think we'll still get those. And yeah, it would definitely be a lot of those would definitely be really good for the Moon Druid. Like for example, the Armor Vagathis one that I saw. Oh my god, yeah. So I did start with fifth edition. Part of the reason why is I am 20. I mean, I'm not 20. I am 30, and I was 20 when fifth edition came out, and I didn't get into D&D until I was 20. So yeah, but I started pretty early on in fifth edition and experienced most of fifth edition. Yeah, I'm just for the D&D space, I'm a younger guy. But I've been a super fantasy nerd since I was a child. I loved Lord of the Rings, and I was really into like RPG video games. Like I played a ton of World of Warcraft, raided, did all that shit. So yeah. Whereas you started with early editions, I was wondering what your thoughts of Scion not being like the early edition Psionics. So yeah, I've heard about the old version of Psionics, and I've seen Reddit posts of people discussing about how it's the whole point of the Scion was that they don't cast spells and that they have a completely different mechanics. So a lot of people are kind of they feel weird about this one. So, but I get it. Yeah. So CJ, honestly, it depends on if you're looking for in person or online. If you're looking for online, I would definitely recommend I don't know specific discords, but there's tons of Discord communities that have games playing. For IRL, it depends on, what kind of city you live in, if it's pretty populated or if it's more rural. Game stores have game nights. A lot of them do if you have a game store in your town or city. So that could be a place to go. But also, maybe consider finding a couple friends and trying DMing yourself. Who knows? Maybe you'll like it. But you could also look at forums. There's different forums online where you could meet groups. A couple of the guys that I play with joined our group because our DM was like looking for players online. Oh, the old psionics were basically just spell points instead of spell slots. Ah, okay, yeah. But weren't they all like different? Like they weren't. You didn't cast spells with them though. You cast unique psion abilities, right? Uh, Oh wow, you started with AD&D second edition, but only have experience with third 3.5 psionics. Ah, I see. Yeah, so it says now psionic power now has a free baseline ability in telekinetic propel and telekinetic connection. Okay. Spellcasting now provides new cantrips at levels 4 and 10. Cool, cool, cool. Ah, you can cast psionic abilities that mimic spells. Okay, that makes sense. So this isn't too far off. And I remember the Mystic had like a bunch of spell points type things, so that's kind of why they were doing that. Psionic modes have been removed. Aspects of the design can be seen in other features like psionic discipline. Okay, interesting. Psionic discipline now gives you additional disciplines at earlier levels, but you gain only one. Wait, what? I'll see what that means as I read through it. Psionic Restoration has been redesigned to quickly regain expended psionic energy dice. Psionic Reserves is a new feature that allows the Psion to keep a minimum amount of psionic energy dice. Okay. Enkindled Life Force is now more flexible in the amount of hit point dice that that can be expended, and clarifies the additional psionic energy die aren't expended. Okay, so I'm starting to refresh my memory a bit. I remember thinking that you didn't have enough psionic energy dice. And then psionic disciplines, from what I remember, were basically like warlock invocations, but obviously a bit different. And then I remember the psionic modes. Uh, it just felt like there was a lot of different features that it was just like there were so many little things you got early on. Like playing even like a level 2 Scion, you had like it felt like you had so many different things to keep track of. So I understand why they got rid of psionic modes, but I can't remember if I liked psionic modes or not. I think I didn't because there was that is there was like the psionic modes were like unique. Like there was one that was like obvious to use, and there's one that wasn't, that like you probably wouldn't use very often. Anyway, let's just get into it, and we'll figure out how things are going now. Anyway, so, psionic power. You harbor a wellspring of psionic energy within yourself. This energy is represented by your psionic energy dice. Your psion level determines the die size and number of psionic energy dice you have, as shown in the energy dice column of the psion features table. Okay. I think it was too much hassle. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's compare these tables for energy die, number of dice. Okay, so you start. Okay, so now it's just, instead of it being like number of dice, energy dice, you start with 4d6. Level 5, you get 6d8. Level 9, you get 8d8. Level 11, you get 8d10. Level 13, you get 10d10. Level 17, you get 12d12. Okay, so I understand it's like similar to spell progression levels. I think it's the exact same. It's just organized in a more streamlined way. So that's cool. Yeah. Cool. Your psionic energy dice are used to enhance or fuel certain psion features. You start with two such features: telekinetic propel and telekinetic connection, each of which is detailed below. Some of your powers expend the psionic energy dice as specified in the power's description, and you can't use a power if it requires you to use a die when all your psionic energy dice are expended. Okay. You restore one expended psionic energy die when you finish a short rest, and you regain all of them back when you finish a long rest. Some features that use psionic energy dice require your target to make a saving throw. Yeah. I get that. Do you think they should up the hit dice to 8? Uh, potentially. You get it. You get 8. You get 8 by level 5 though, and I feel like that is like, it's like the same time martial classes get extra attack, so probably fine. But I need to figure out what they do in this new version to decide what I think. It's cleaned up some, which I appreciate. Much easier to keep track of 4d6 than 4 of d6. Yeah, totally. So, um, oh, also, I forgot to mention the last playtest I read before. I I I read it off stream before I read it on stream. This one I'm completely going in blind. I didn't watch any other content creators' videos. This is me going in completely blind. Okay. Telekinetic Propel. As a bonus action, choose one larger, smaller creature other than you that you can see within 30 feet of yourself. When you do so, the target must succeed a strength saving throw or be moved 5 feet straight towards you or straight away from you. Alternatively, you can roll 1 psionic energy die when you take this bonus action, and the distance moved is equal to 5 times the number rolled. The die is expended only if the target fails the saving throw. Okay. So you can use it without expending a die. And move them 5 feet. That's new. Oh, cool, Caden. We get to experience it together then. Honestly, I would say it's more similar to a sorcerer than a wizard. At least so far, but we'll see. So I think they're using the same sort of like you know how the new monk, they can use their focus point features. Some of their focus point features have a free version, and then they have a focus point version. I feel like they're using that same kind of design philosophy for this, so that's nice. No matter what, you can push a creature 5 feet away or toward you, so that's nice. Oh yeah, I get what you're saying, Caden, for sure. So you have telepathy within a range of 30 feet. Thank goodness. Oh my god. As a bonus action, you can roll 1 psionic energy die for the next hour. The range of your telepathy. Maybe I still don't like this though. Wasn't that what it was? Okay, it's better than it was. Okay, good. Yeah, it used to be telepathy within a range of 5 feet, which is like, why? Okay, yeah. So you have innate telepathy to a range of 30 feet, but you can extend the range with a psionic energy die, equal to 10 times the number you rolled on your psionic energy die. Okay. So most likely you'll extend it by 30 feet, but up to 60 feet when you first get this ability. Okay. And it lasts for an hour. That's fine. That's fine. Ooh. Okay, spell casting. I feel like I don't need to read any of this except, well, actually no, let's read it because we got to check if they have the somatic and verbal component shit. That's the same. Two cantrips. Yeah, they recommend minor illusion, telekinetic fling. I'm just skimming this just so I don't waste time. Okay, yeah. It's still a weird mechanic that your roll determines the distance. Yeah, I agree. It seems kind of like they just want to use the psionic energy dice. So they have found an excuse. So yeah. it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. They just, yeah, people like to roll dice, I guess. So they're like, let's have them roll the die. Okay, when you cast a Psion spell, the spell doesn't require a verbal or material component. And that's still the same. Okay. So that's not changed at all. That is the most exciting thing. Not most exciting, but one of the more exciting things about the Psion that I like. So that's cool. Okay. Subtle telekinesis. You know the mage hand cantrip and can cast it without somatic components. And that means that you can cast it without verbal, material, or somatic components, since Psion already doesn't cast with verbal or material components. You can make the spectral hand invisible when you cast it. Yeah, that's the same. Cool, cool, cool. Psionic discipline. Yeah, we're getting to where psionic modes is now gone. So let's see what psionic discipline. First of all, let's read psionic modes to see what we're lacking and see if they implement it anywhere else. So this is from the old UA. So the psionic modes was in the old one. There's attack mode and defense mode. You ignore resistance to psychic damage. Your psychic damage spells ignore resistance to psychic damage with attack mode. In addition, when you roll damage for a spell, you can expend one psionic energy die to reroll a number of damage dice up to your intelligence modifier. You must use the new rolls. Okay. In defense mode, you have resistance to psychic damage. In addition, when you fail an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma saving throw, you can make a reaction to expend one psionic energy die. Roll the psionic energy die and add the number roll. Okay. Roll the saving throw, potentially turning a failure into a success. Okay, yeah. So that was the attack and defense mode. Not very powerful. And I feel like some of these could be. The saving throw one's pretty powerful. But I would probably be in defense mode a lot of the time. But the resistance to psychic damage is just whatever. I feel like that could just be a passive. Maybe they become disciplined. So let's check it out. Okay. Psionic discipline. You learn further psionic techniques that are fueled by your psionic energy die. You gain 2 disciplines of your choice, such as expanded awareness and eyed insination. I had to burp. Sorry, wanted to turn the mic off for that. Okay. uh, Describing the psionic discipline options section later in the class description. You can use only one discipline each turn and only once per turn unless otherwise noted in one of those options. Okay. Whenever you gain a Psion level, you can replace one of your psionic discipline options with one you don't know. You gain one additional option at Psion's level 5, 10, 13, and 17. Let me see if there's any difference. So you get less disciplines. Okay. As you level up. You used to get 2 per. You used to get 2 more at level 5, 10, 13, 17. My guess is they're stronger now, potentially. I'm going to go ahead and read the disciplines just so that I understand what's going on, okay? There seems to be more. So let me count. There's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 disciplines. Previously, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so there's the same amount. Okay, so Caden, what it says here is so you get 2 initially, and then you gain 1 additional option at Psion level 5, 10, 13, and 17. The old version said Oh yeah, I think you're right. You gain 2 more options at level 10 and 17. So you get the same amount, but you get them more spread out. Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. That's very helpful. Yeah, okay. That's cool. That is definitely better. So you don't get less, you just get it spread out more evenly. Okay. Okay, so this might take a while, but this will probably be the bulk of the class. I'll try not to read all the old versions and try to just focus on the new versions because I have a decent amount of time, but I don't have like that much time. So let's just read them, and then if I want to check, I will. Okay, so biofeedback: when you cast a Scion spell from the Necromancy or Transmutation School, you can expend a number of psionic energy dice up to your intelligence modifier, roll them, and gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the total number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Okay. Oh, let's read their notes right here first, though, before I get too into these. Here are the main updates in this feature since its last appearance in Unearthed Arcana. Biofeedback and destructive thoughts are now more flexible. The number of psionic energy dice you can expend. Okay, cool. Bolstering Prognition, formerly Swift. Bolstering Precognition, formerly Swift Precognition, now provides a bonus to your or an ally's next D20 test. Ooh, that's cool. Devilish Tongue, Expanded Awareness, and Observant Mind, formerly Tactical Mind, now expend a psionic energy die only on a success. That sounds good. Sharpened Mind is a new discipline, and Ego Whip has been redesigned as a spell. Ooh, I like that. Just because I like new spells. That's mostly why I'm saying that. Okay, sorry. Okay, so when you cast a Scion spell, biofeedback: when you cast a Scion spell from the Necromancy or Transmutation School, you can expend a number of psionic energy dice up to your intelligence modifier, roll them, and gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the total number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Okay. One thing to keep in mind here is I know that there's a cantrip. One of the cantrips they get that's really cool. The telekinetic fling. Oh, never mind. It's an evocation spell. I think it was telekinetic fling. Where? No, it was always evocation. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me, guys. But you can use a transmutation or necromancy cantrip because it doesn't say spell of first level or higher, and it doesn't say spell that expends a spell slot. It just says spell. So if you want to use like mending message, uh, or prestidigitation, those will trigger biofeedback. And then you can gain temporary hit points equal to a psi energy dice up to your intelligence modifier. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of cool. Let me read some necromancy spells that they have access to. They have no necromancy spells at first level. But like Longstrider, okay. It was. I do appreciate Ego Whip is now a science spell. It was originally a psionic power spell equivalent, 3.5. So it's nice that we're going back to basics. Oh yeah, that is good, for sure. Okay. Sorry, I was just checking that. Biofeedback seems pretty good now. I like that. Then we got bolstering precognition. When you cast a Scion spell from the Abjuration or Divination School, you can expend one psionic energy die, roll the die, and choose a creature you can see within 60 feet, which can be yourself. Till the end of your next turn, the creature gains a bonus to the next d20 test it makes equal to the number rolled. Okay. That's pretty cool. It's kind of like Bardic Inspiration. It's basically a Bardic Inspiration. but you can't use it as flexibly because it says until the end of your next turn. The creature gains a bonus to the next d20 test it makes equal to the number rolled. Yeah, so it's Bardic Inspiration light. Yeah, kind of like Bless, I guess you could say too, yeah. So yeah, Bardic Inspiration light, and it's tied to a Abjuration or Divination spell, which you could cast Blade Ward and give this, and then that's actually kind of nice. You can cast Blade Ward on yourself, and then one of your friends you can give a little bonus in Divination. Or you could cast Comprehend Languages, Detect Magic, Mage Armor, Sanctuary, or Shield. Oh, that's Shield is the way to go for that. Oh my god, think about this. You just like cast Shield and then give your buddy a bonus. That's kind of cool. I like that. It kind of reminds me of So Free Barbs, but less broken and a class feature. Okay. Destructive Thoughts. When you cast a Psion spell from the Conjuration or Evocation school that forces a creature you can see to make a saving throw against the spell, you can expend a number of psionic energy dice up to your intelligence modifier and roll them. The creature takes psychic damage equal to the total number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Okay. Regardless of the result of the saving throw. Ooh. I do kind of miss that Swift Precognition gave you a Quicken spell, and we have this instead. Ah, that's good to note. Yeah, so maybe that is somewhat of a nerf. I'll go ahead and read the old version of that one specifically, just so that we can recall what it does. Yeah, so Abjuration and Divination spells that are normally an action, you could make a bonus action. I remember, but like yeah, and like that's cool because you could have cast Mage Armor as a bonus action. You could cast like Blade Ward. Yeah, dude, Blade Ward as a bonus action. I remember reading that and being like, ooh, I would get that for Blade Ward as a bonus action. And you can't do that anymore. Because Blade Ward is a very underrated cantrip in my opinion. But it being an action is kind of rough. Okay. Let's look at destructive thoughts. So yeah, so basically you do psychic damage equal to basically you can do guaranteed damage if you cast a conjuration or evocation spell on a target. You can do psychic energy dice up to your intelligence modifier. And that's great because like you could do, let's see, it's conjuration and evocation. So you could do like the new telekinetic fling ability. Spell. The new telekinetic fling spell, you could cast that on someone. Oh wait, no, that's an attack roll. Never mind. So that wouldn't work. Okay, it might have to be. We might maybe no cantrips you could do that with then. Okay, let's see. Conjuration, evocation, life siphon. Okay, that's a new spell. That might be one that would work. Okay, we'll figure it out. But like Thunderwave, there's a lot of evocation spells that would probably work and be good. Okay. We got Devilish Tongue. When you take the influence action, you can roll one psionic energy die and add the number rolled to the ability check. If this causes you to succeed on the ability check, the die is expended. Okay, cool. Expended awareness. When you take the search action, you can roll one psionic energy die and add the number rolled to the ability check. If this causes you to succeed on the ability check, the die is expended. Nice. Okay. Id intuition, however the hell you pronounce that. I remember not being able to pronounce that before. Okay, when you cast a Scion spell from the enchantment or illusion school that forces a creature to make a saving throw, you can expend one psionic energy dice and roll it. One target of the spell you can see subtracts half the number rolled, round up, from its saving throw against the spell. Okay. This destructive thoughts only has minor adjustments, but it's better clarified. Yeah, for sure. So it seems like yeah, this spell is pretty good. The insinuation? Is it just insinuation? Yeah, insinuation. Enchantment or illusion though. Friends. Ooh. Charm person, command. Dissonant whisper. Yeah, no, that's really good. I could see myself taking that one. That's better before you had to roll 2 energy dice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like it. I like that one. That's probably, so far, that's definitely my first pick. Okay. Let's look at, oh my god, there's so many. uh Inerrant aim. When you make an attack roll against a creature and miss, you can roll 1 psionic energy die and add the number rolled to the attack roll. This causes the attack to hit. The die is expended. Okay. I like that it is only expended if you hit. Observant mind. Uh, it's nerfed, but it's better balanced. Yeah. Sure. Observant mind. When you take the study action, you can roll 1 psionic energy die and add the number rolled to the ability check. Yeah, they have a bunch of these ones. Okay, cool. Immediately after a creature, psionic backlash. Immediately after a creature you can see hits you with an attack roll, you can take a reaction to expend 1 psionic energy die, roll it, and reduce the damage you take from the attack equal to 2 times the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Okay. That's pretty good. Minimum of 2. I don't know. I just never seen that, so it's interesting to see that. In addition, you can force the attacker to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the target takes psychic damage equal to the amount of the damage reduced. Ooh. And that all costs 1 energy die? That's pretty freaking good. Wow. Yeah, Psionic Backlash is kind of crazy. Kind of goes hard. Let's say you roll 2d6 and you get like a 6, because that's probably what it'd be. Plus your intelligence modifier, though, which could be like, let's just say, for the sake of being like talking about lower levels, let's say it's a 3 or a 4. You're looking at 9 to 10 damage reduced, and then you get to do 9 to 10 damage back at them and psychic damage if they fail a wisdom save. Yeah, that's interesting, Kevin. Yeah. But yeah, being able to reduce some damage and inflict some damage, that's pretty nice. But I guess it scales pretty well because the die keeps getting bigger, you know? Could be pretty high at higher levels. Okay, yeah. Okay, Psionic Guards. At the start of your turn, you can expend 1 psionic energy die. Until the start of your next turn, you have immunity to the charmed and frightened conditions and have advantage on intelligence saving throws. Okay. If you are charmed or frightened when you use this discipline, the condition ends on you. Huh. That's a good ability, but I feel like it doesn't come up that often. Maybe a little bit more with the new monster manual. There's definitely a decent amount of creatures that frighten and charm, but I don't know if I would take this as one of my first options for sure. This would be a later level option, if that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, pretty similar. Yeah, it looks exactly the same, basically. Okay, Sharpen Mind. So this one I can tell they took inspiration from the psionic modes or whatever it's called. What was it called? Yeah, psionic modes. And this one I'll compare Sharpen Mind or Tactical Mind when you take Swift. What? Oh, it's just a new one. Oh yeah, they got rid of Ego Whip. I remember now. Yeah, yeah. Made it a spell. The Berserker Barbarian has that as a subclass feature. Yeah, that's true. Oh man. Okay, at the start of your turn, you can expend one psionic energy die to hone your destructive psionics. Roll the die and record the number rolled. You gain the following benefits for 1 minute or until you have the incapacitated condition. Okay, so this is basically psionic modes, but you just get two things. You get bypassing psionics, damage from your weapon attacks, psion spells, and psion features ignore resistance to psychic damage. Okay, that was attack mode. That was one of the attack mode features. Actually, no, it wasn't. Was it? Yes, it was. Okay. And then attack mode, once per turn, when you deal psychic damage to one or more creatures, you can replace the number rolled on one of the damage dice with the number recorded when you activated the psionic discipline. Okay. When you use Sharpen Mind, you can also use a different psionic discipline this turn. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, thank you, CJ. Uh, this. I don't know if I like this. It uses only one, though. Okay. Because it uses one psionic energy dice, I think it's fine, especially because you can use different psionic disciplines that turn. But first of all, psychic resistance is very rare. And then I almost like the previous one better because you got the modes and the discipline. Yeah, and then like what if you roll a 1? You can replace the number rolled on one of the damage dice with the number recorded when you activated this psionic discipline. I guess I would have to think of specific spells that deal psychic damage that I would want to use. And it would probably be better at higher levels where your psionic energy dice are bigger dice. Because if you have a D12 and the spell you're casting is normally D6s, getting even a 6 would guarantee the highest damage. But like, what if you rolled, like, yeah, if you rolled a 1, then you're like, fuck. You know? And it's only one damage dice. It's just kind of lame. I think Sharpen Mind needs to be put in the oven a bit longer. Maybe turn it over a couple times, you know. You know. Okay. Let's read more of this. Now that we read all the disciplines, let's read the rest of the classes. So we got level 3 Psion subclass. Yeah. We'll go over the subclasses later. But then we got level 4 ability skill improvement. Yup. Level 5 psionic restoration. You can perform a meditation that focuses the mind for 1 minute. At the end of it, you regain expended psionic energy dice. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. So you regain all expended psionic energy dice. Whereas before, it was short rest, and it was you regain expended psionic energy dice, but no more than the number equal to half your number of dice. Yeah, okay. So you get a 1 minute ritual, like the new Warlock feature, and you get all of your psionic energy dice back, but you can do it once per long rest. I like that. That's good. And you could probably do this with your short rest if you happen to be doing a short rest. I like that. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Good, good, good. And then we got Psionic Surge. You can push your psionic powers using your life force. After you roll one or more psionic energy dice, you can expend one of your hit point dice and treat any roll of 1, 2, or 3 on the psionic energy dice as a 4. Okay. Yeah, I like that. But do I like it that much though? This makes this makes sharpened mind a bit better for sure, because now you'll get at least a 4, but it's just a 4. It's still just a 4. It's the same. Okay, basically the same. Okay, let's go to level 18. Psionic reserves. When you roll initiative, you begin expended uses of psionic energy dice until you have 4. If you have fewer than that. Okay, that's better. Because before they had the freaking. Oh, no, they just didn't have an 18th level feature. But I bet. Oh, yeah, so that's pretty good. Cool. Yeah, basically with Sonic Surge, you might take Sharpened Mind at. Well, it's actually at 7th level, but yeah, at 7th level for sure. But or are you saying at 10th level? Because you oh yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, Enkindled Life Force. This is level 20, so it's barely gonna happen ever. But you got Enkindled Life Force. You burn your life force to achieve greater psionics. Once per turn, when you roll one or more psionic energy dice for a psion feature or psionic discipline, you can expend one or two of your hit point dice. For each hit point dice expended, roll an additional psionic energy die and add the numbers rolled to the total. This roll does not expend the psionic energy die. Okay, that's cool. That's cool, but I don't really care that much because it's level 20. But is it really worth a capstone? Let's read the old version. Once per turn, when you expend a psionic energy die and roll it for a psion feature or psionic discipline, you can expend 2 of your hit point dice to roll 2 additional. Yeah, okay, it is the same. There was a note about it though. What was the note? What did the note say? Is now more flexible in the amount of hit point dice that. Okay. Okay, but they aren't expended. Uh, 1 or 2 of your hit point dice. Before it was you can spend. Okay, so you can choose to spend 1 if you just want to spend 1, or you can spend 2. Yeah, yeah, cool, cool, cool. So yeah, that's fine. You know, could be worse. Um, I'm gonna before I go over the subclass, let's go over the spells because they have some updates. They say they have some notes, and then I want to see what they. I am very excited to see what they did to Metamorph because Metamorph was the one that I thought was the most interesting. And it is confirmed now, guys. I have at least an hour and 15 minutes. So that is pretty good amount of time to go over the rest of this. So that is nice. Okay. But by the way, how you guys doing this weekend? Sorry I haven't been coming out with videos super often lately. I've just been doing life stuff. But if you guys didn't hear, last month I came out with the College of Pantomime Bard subclass. Down in the description is my Patreon, and you can check out that subclass down there. And then later this month, I'm coming out with my new Barbarian subclass called the Path of the Executioner. And I just got the art for that. And later in the stream, I'll show you the I'll give you a sneak peek of the art because I haven't posted it anywhere yet. It's pretty cool. Anyway, it's good if you don't have any dice left. Yeah, that's true. Well, I feel like it's good if you don't have a lot of dice left because you still need to use it. It's when you use psionic energy dice. You roll an additional psionic energy dice and add the number rolled to the total. Our teases are good. Yeah. It's pretty sweet. It's a fire giant ancestry Goliath executioner. Pretty freaking cool. Okay. The artist did a great job too. Okay, so we have let's read the design notes for the spell list updates. So we have the Psion spell list includes the following new spells. Life Siphon, which that's a new spell. I've never heard of it. I don't think it was in the last playtest. Sanctuary, Shield, Thunderwave. I'm so happy they have Shield now. Oh my god. Yeah, I remember them not having Shield and being like, how does melee class work? Ectoplasmic Trail, that's new. Ego Whip, which we mentioned earlier. Bleeding Darkness. Oh my god, that sounds awesome. Enemies Abound. Life Inversion Field, Mental Prison, Sonic Blast, Thought Form, Abby Dalzim's Horrid Wilting. Oh my god. This roll does not expend the Sonic energy die. But Caden, that is true, but you gotta look closer at it. It says this. It says when you roll one or more psionic energy dice from a psion feature or psionic discipline, you can expend one or two of your hit point dice. For each hit point die expended, roll an additional psionic energy die and add the numbers rolled to the total. This roll does not expend the psionic energy die. This roll. Wait. This could go either way. They said they clarified it. They said they clarified it more, but this is kind of confusing. This could go both ways. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, that last sentence confuses me, dude. Caden, you're so right. So yeah, it's like. So my guess is what they're trying to say is that the extra hit dice you get are not expended. But the other hit dice are expended. But it's not clear enough. So people could assume that when you use this feature, none of the hit dice are expended. So yeah, I agree, Caden. For sure. Dang, that's weird. Okay, guys, I'm gonna skip looking at each individual thing on the list because they kind of told you here. I want to look at these new spells because I freaking love new spells, and I'm also excited to see what other classes get access to these, if any. Honestly, they should have some exclusive spells, so I expect there to be exclusive spells. We will go back to the subclasses after I go over these spells. Oh, I already see warlocks. Oh, yep, these are available to other classes. Yeah, okay. Design note, spell updates. Several spells from Tasha's Cauldron and Everything return in this article alongside some new spells. Here are the main updates to the spells in this article. General updates. Returning spells have been refined and brought in line with revisions in the 2024 Player's Handbook. Oh yeah, I am very excited for this. Okay. New spells in this article: Bleeding Darkness, Ectoplasmic Trail, Life Inversion Field, Summon Astral Entity. That's a new one. And Telekinetic Crush. Add new options. No, wait. Summon Astral Entity was in the last one. I remember. Yeah, and Telekinetic Crush. Add new options to various classes spell lists. The Scion also receives unique spells: Ego Whip, Life Siphon, Psionic Blast, in Thought Form. Oh yeah, Psionic Blast was a feature in the last one, right? Or there was. I remember reading Psionic Blast last time. Let me check. Or was it in the last UA as a spell? I think it. I just want to check that real quick. Or was it a feature of a specific subclass? I remember seeing the term Psionic Blast. Like, was it? Let me see. I think it was like uh, the Psi Kinetic. Maybe I'm just wrong. Huh. There was psychic. Oh yeah, that's not it. Ah, whatever. We'll figure it out. Guys, my wife is doing a pop up at a coffee shop right now, and she does pop ups pretty often. She sells like pins and jewelry and stuff like that. And I live in Kansas City, and Chappelle Roan concert was here last night. And there's so many people that came to Kansas City for the concert, and she's making a ton of money at this pop up because it's the day after. Anyway, that's she's like, I made a bunch of money. Woo. So that's cool. Anyway, sorry. So we got Abi Dalzim's Horrid Wilting. So I think Abi Dalzim is a spellcaster that was previously has some spells. I think is it like I'm gonna look it up just because I forget. I think like the Dance Macabre, is that his? We're gonna look that up real quick. Oh no, it's an older spell. No, this is an update. Looks like Psionic Blast is a completely new. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, so it's a Xanathar's spell. It's just an 8th level spell, and maybe it wasn't good, so I was like, oh, I should actually. Let's look at the old version just to see what it is. You draw the moisture from every creature in a 30-foot cube centered on a point you choose within range. Each creature in that area must make a Constitution saving throw. Constructs and undead are unaffected, and plants and water elementals make the saving throw with disadvantage. A creature takes 12d8 necrotic damage on a failed save. Okay, so just a damaging spell. Non-magical plants in this area that aren't creatures such as trees and shrubs wither and die instantly. Okay, what's the new version? You draw the moisture from every creature within a 30-foot cube centered on a point within range. Each creature in the area makes a Constitution saving throw, taking 12d8 necrotic damage on a failed save, or has half as much damage on a successful one. It's the same. It's the exact same. Okay. Cool. But it's the Scion, Sorcerer, and Wizard now. Cool. Bleeding Darkness. This spell has a very intriguing name to me, and I'm very excited. Okay. So. Oh wait, let me double check. I'm so dumb. I forgot to check the casting time and range. Oh, undead are affected now. It's so action, 150-foot range, verbal, somatic, material. Yeah, so all that's the same. Yeah, so now undead are affected. Okay. Those just like that's the thing about these changes. Sometimes it's one word. But it's important to point out. Okay. We got action, Bleeding Darkness, level 3 evocation spell. Action cast, 60-foot range, verbal, somatic, material, a vial of rare ink worth 50 gold plus. The spell does not consume it, at least it doesn't say so. Concentration up to a minute. Sorry, kind of burpy. You create an inky void in a 10-foot radius sphere at a point you can see above yourself within range. So that's similar to Moonbeam. But it's a sphere, it's not a cylinder. You can see above yourself. You can see a point you can see above yourself within 60 feet. So you have to put it. Okay, let's keep reading. When you cast the spell, magical darkness pours from the sphere, filling a 10-foot radius. 40-foot tall cylinder originating from the sphere until the start of your next turn. So it's going to be pretty close to you because it's a 60-foot range from where you are. That's so they worded that. It's a cool imagery, but they worded that so weirdly. Okay, so 60-foot range, you put a 10-foot radius sphere. So the magic darkness pours from the sphere, and it's 40 feet tall cylinder. So basically, if you want it to be, I guess you can put it farther and lower. Yeah, so you could put it like 40 feet away, but only because what I'm assuming is the range is taking into account vertical range as well. So if it's 40 feet in front of you but 20 feet high, that's the limit of 60 feet, right? That's what I'm assuming. Anyway, yeah, let's keep reading. You filling a 10-foot radius, 40-foot tall cylinder originating from the sphere until starting next turn. The cylinder is difficult terrain and no light, magical, or otherwise can illuminate the area. When the darkness appears, each creature in the area must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 3d8 cold damage and have the blinded condition until the end of its next turn. Oh, okay. A creature also makes this save when it enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or ends its turn there. A creature makes the save only once per turn. Until the spell ends, you can take a magic action to move the sphere. This is literally Dark Moonbeam, which is cool. Until the spell ends, you can take a magic action to move the sphere up to 20 feet horizontally and cause the sphere to pour magical darkness until the start of your next turn. Yes. So this is Evil Moonbeam that does cold damage and does magical darkness and blinds creatures. And that's important because some creatures have Devil's Sight, but this spell doesn't. This spell doesn't give a shit if you have Devil's Sight because it blinds you. Moonbeam is at least easy to understand. Yeah. So I think the wording is oddly clunky for no reason. They could have worded this exactly like Moonbeam at the beginning and had the same effect. I love that Warlocks have access to this too, because I love playing Warlocks. I think I would cast this spell. Blinded condition, guys, is kind of goes hard. Think about this, guys. You're a Warlock. If you decide to choose Warlock, you have Devil's Sight. You pick that as an invocation. You are fighting someone who has True Sight. You cast Bleeding Darkness on them. You can see through it. They can't, because even though they have True Sight, True Sight does not make you immune to the blinded condition. You would have to have immunity to the blinded condition for it to not affect you. Oh yeah, it definitely makes sense that the Warlock gets it. So I freaking love this spell, but they should clean up the wording a bit. It's oddly clunky for no reason. And also the damage does scale. So it's also great for Warlocks. Because 3d8 cold damage, it does like 3 things in one spell, and it's 3rd level. So even without the damage, even without it scaling with spell level, it's good. And then it scales with spell level. So yeah. Okay. Cool. 3d8. What's Moonbeam's damage? I think it's about the same because Moonbeam's a 2nd level spell. I'm just going on roll 20 because it's the first one that comes up. This is something to keep in mind too. Moonbeam is a 5-foot radius, so this is even a larger radius. But yeah, it's a 2nd level spell and it does 2d10. Okay, so the damage, it's honestly similar though. 3d8, 2d10. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I like it. Yeah, let's move on to the next spell. So we have Ectoplasmic Trail. This is interesting. It's also a Warlock spell. And Scion, of course. Casting time bonus action, range self. Opponent's verbal somatic. Duration instantaneous. You cloak yourself. Oh, yeah, same average damage, yeah. You cloak yourself in spirits that leave ectoplasm in your wake until the end of your turn. Okay. This could be fun with a specific build, potentially, where you make your speed very fast. While cloaked, you can move through occupied spaces as if they were difficult terrain. And moving doesn't provoke... Wait, what? While cloaked, you can move through... Oh! You can move, like there's creatures in that space. You can just move through it as if they were difficult terrain. And moving doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Okay. You end your turn in such a space. You are returned to the last unoccupied space you were in. Interesting. Huh. While cloaked, whenever you enter the space of a creature, the creature becomes covered in ectoplasm until the end of your next turn. A creature covered in ectoplasm has its speed reduced by 10 feet and takes 2d8 necrotic damage at the start of its turn. This is a weird spell, okay? A creature can be covered in ectoplasm only once per turn. While cloaked, your speed increases by 10 feet for each spell slot level above 2nd. Huh. Okay, so you cast this spell as a bonus action. With the level 2 version, your speed does not change. You then can move without provoking opportunity attacks and technically move through other creatures' spaces, but I don't think I would think about... I don't think that would come up very often for me personally. Until the end of your turn. If you end your turn in such a space. Oh, if you end your turn in such a space, it's saying if you end your turn in an occupied space. You return to the last okay. For a second, I thought it meant that you move and then you're teleported to where you started. But that's not what it's saying. It's saying that if you move through someone's space and ends your turn... It says occupied spaces, though. Is there like a... Does that mean... Is it trying to say like walls? Like you can go through walls? Let me see if there's any rules in the rules glossary that specify what an occupied space is. because that is very specific wording. Occupied space. Rules glossary right here. A space is occupied if a creature is in it or if it is completely filled by objects. Okay. So it's saying you can go through walls. Yeah, for sure. Well, is a wall an object? I assume it is. Let's see what it says. Object. An object is a non-living distinct thing. Composite things like buildings comprise more than one object. Okay, yeah, so it's saying you can go through walls. So yeah, so you can go through walls, which is cool, and it's just your normal speed. But if you end your turn in the wall, you return to the last unoccupied space you were in. That's a really powerful for a level 2 spell. I'm guessing you're supposed to be incorporeal. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's like pass wall, kind of. Like it has the similar. Huh. Guys, also, there's that invocation that lets you see through walls. As a warlock, you could use that, look through the wall, and then be like, oh, I can go. Oh my god. Okay, but then this is the important thing, is it also is a damaging spell. And it does 2d8 necrotic damage. And it doesn't require a saving throw? Yeah. It just does 2d8 necrotic damage. No saving throw. And it reduces their speed by 10. No saving throw. The damage happens at the start of their turn. And they can only be covered in ectoplasm only once per turn. But upcasting it does not up the damage, so the damage is always 2d8. But upcasting does increase your speed. I think if this spell is released exactly how it is, people are going to make a bunch of weird builds with this spell, including myself. This could be like a tanking spell. Like I could see a tank build. Anyway, I'm going to if I keep talking about this, I'm never going to get through all of this. So let's move on to Ego Whip. Okay, so this is a Psion exclusive spell. Imagine using this spell with a cleric spamming Spirit Guardians. Oh my gosh. Well, this is the thing. It doesn't require concentration. And it's a bonus action. So yeah, you could like be cantrip or weapon attacking, doing this, and then have a concentration spell up. Oh my god. Again, you would have to be an intelligence or charisma caster or have a weird multi-class, but yeah. And it's second level spell. Anyway, sorry. Ego Whip. Okay, so Psion exclusive, casting time, reaction. When you take, which you take when a creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself makes a charisma. Oh shit! Sorry, guys. I accidentally hit my mic. Reaction when you take. Sorry. Reaction when you take. Sorry. Reaction which you take when a creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself makes a charisma-based ability check or saving throw. Okay, the creature makes a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the target must subtract 1d8 from the ability check or saving throw. Okay. Oh, I see. You're saying with Spirit Guardians, because Spirit Guardians reduces their speed by half, I think it does. And then reduces their speed by 10. It wouldn't be negative, but it would be very low. What was the old Ego Whip was a discipline. What did it do as a discipline? Let's double check that. When a creature provokes an opportunity attack from you by leaving your reach, you can use a reaction to roll sanity dice and force the creature to make an intelligence saving throw. Oh. Completely different ability now. This spell is nothing like the old one. Okay, so it's a reaction spell, but the creature makes a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the target must. I guess it's kind of different. Target must subtract. But reaction which you take when a creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself makes a charisma based ability check or saving throw. So here's a problem, guys. You can only cast one spell slot per turn. That is the new rule. And even though this is a reaction spell, with the new way spells casting works, you cannot use this on your own spell unless it doesn't require a spell slot for some reason. Because it says reaction which you take when a creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself makes a charisma based ability check or saving throw. So you have to wait for one of your party members to cast a charisma saving throw spell on an enemy, or a enemy does a charisma based ability check. So in combat, it probably won't come up very often. This would probably be used more as a role playing spell, but also, and keep in mind you're a scion, so you don't use verbal or somatic components, and this spell only has verbal components. So yeah, this is a spell you cast when you're in like a party setting, or you're in like, you're in like some sort of role play setting, and the bad guy's trying to lie to you, and you can cast this spell and reduce their charisma based ability check where they're trying to deceive you. Yeah, class features might trigger as well. That's true. So yeah, but that's what I think this is for, and I think that it's pretty good for that. And it is an enchantment spell. And what is the psionic discipline that works with enchantment? I forgot. Let's see the combo. Let's see the comboing that this could do. Guys, there's so many spells. Oh my god, I got like 45, 50 minutes. I haven't even gotten to the subclasses. But let's go to psionic disciplines. I know there's one that works with enchantment spells. Maybe I'm wrong. Yes. When you cast a Scion spell from the enchantment or illusion school that forces a creature to make a saving throw, which that one does, you can expend one psionic energy dice and roll it. One target of the spell you can see subtracts half the number rolled. Okay, so you can, if you combo those, you could be able to lower the saving throw for that. Okay, cool. Original 3.5 Ego Whip says the target takes 1d4 points of charisma damage, or half that amount, minimum of 1 point on a successful save. A target that fails its save is also dazed for 1 round. So I don't understand enough of the 3.5 mechanics, but this seems more similar to the original in a way, though, because I'm assuming charisma damage does something similar in the old version. Okay. Okay, let's move on to Enemies Abound. This is a spell that I forget what it does because it was bad. But Bard, Scion, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. I feel like I'm gonna... The old version, I'm gonna just skim it. I don't have time to do all these spells in depth. You reach into the mind of one creature you can see and force it to make an intelligence saving throw. A creature automatically succeeds if it's immune to being frightened. On a failed save, the target loses the ability to distinguish friend from foe. Regarding oh yeah, so it's a spell that makes it attack other people, like attack anyone. Each time the target takes damage, it can yeah. So it's like you target a creature. If they fail, and you're concentrating for 1 minute, they attack random people. What's the new version? Cruiser damage would be like the shadow dealing strength damage. Oh wow! So Ego Whip was a bit better then. That's crazy. If you have hit 0 charisma though, you just go into a coma. Dang. Okay. New enemies abound. Bard, Science, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Concentration 1 minute. The action, that's the same. Choose a creature you can see within range. The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw. Or have the frightened condition for the duration. While frightened, so they have the frightened condition as well. Instead of just being immune if they're immune to frightened. While frightened, the target loses the ability to distinguish friend from foe and is affected in the following ways. The target regards all creatures it can see as enemies. When the target chooses a creature other than itself for an attack, spell, or an ability, or other ability, it must choose at random from among creatures it can see within range of that attack, spell, or ability. The target must make an opportunity attack each time it is able to. Each time the target takes damage, it makes another. Okay, this can be better. Has the potential to be better because let's look at the frightened condition real quick. Because before it did not give the creature the frightened condition, and now it does. This could, while you have the frightened condition, you experience the following effects. You have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of fear is within line of sight. You can't unwillingly move closer to the source of fear. Okay. Not gonna lie. I wish this spell was available to the ranger. Enemies abound. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like Gloomstalker, that'd be very flavorful. Okay, so this is my opinion on this. It is slightly better now because the creature, if you are within line of sight, it cannot come towards you. So if it is a melee attack, if it is a melee, monster, then it has to choose a target to attack that is within its range, and it can't move closer to you. So it has a higher chance of hitting one of your enemies if you use it strategically than it having basically a 50-50 chance of hitting you or someone else. Okay, so that's cool. That's cool. I like it. Then we have Intellect Fortress. This spell was good but niche in the past. Let's see if it does the same thing. Action cast, 30-foot range, verbal components, concentration up to an hour. For the duration, one willing creature you can see within range has resistance to psychic damage, as well as advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. I think the past one, if I'm remembering correctly, only gave you advantage on intelligence saving throws. Let's double check. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. No. It's the same. But it said the creatures must be in the... So before... Yeah. The old version also was all 3 mental saves. I'm trying to see if there's any differences. The only difference I see is something that doesn't really make sense. So the range is 30 feet. In the old version, the range is 30 feet. But in the old version, it says when you upcast it, the creatures must be within 30 feet of each other when you target them. But that should be obvious because the range is 30 feet. And so they just took out that sentence. That's it. Okay. Maybe it's who it's available to. So Artificer, Bard, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Artificer, Bard, Scion, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Yeah, it just adds the Scion. Okay. Oh, so it's worse. They nerfed it. It used to be you and one willing creature. Now the base version of the spell is just one willing creature. Okay, yeah, you're right. They nerfed it. I didn't even. I don't think it needed nerfing. Interesting. That spell's way better than I remember it being, by the way, the original version. Okay, anyway, let's go to Life Inversion Field. So this is a brand new spell. Cleric Psion Sorcerer. Okay. Yeah, you and. Yeah, I know. If I said or, I meant and. So it used to be you could target it on you and another creature. Now it's just one willing creature. So the base form is just on one target, and the old one, the third level version, it was for two targets, including yourself. Okay, concentration up to a minute, action casting time, verbal somatic, range self, an aura radiates from, oh, new aura spell, cool. An aura radiates from you in a 30-foot emanation for the duration. When you create the aura, you regain. Oh, really? The old one is you or one? Oh. Oh, so it's basically not changed at all. Because one willing creature can be yourself. So that's just like, okay. Never mind then. It's basically the same. Concentration up to a minute. An aura radiates from you in a 30-foot emanation for the duration. When you create the aura, you regain 4d8 hit points. Cool. Whenever you regain hit points, you can choose a creature you can see in the aura and force it to make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes necrotic damage equal to half the amount of hit points you regained. Creature makes this save only once per turn. Oh my gosh. This on a life cleric sounds fun as hell. Ooh, wow. Concentration up to a minute. Okay, so you get an initial thing of healing, and then you can, whenever you get healed for the next minute, creatures take necrotic damage equal to half the amount of hit points you regained. This is kind of similar, and then upcast to 1d8 for each spell slot level before. That's just for the initial healing, though. This is kind of similar to my Oath of Radiance Paladin. Check that out down below on my Patreon. Interesting. Okay. Pretty simple, though. Okay, Life Siphon, Psion exclusive. First level spell, though, so if you dip into Psion, you can pick this up. Okay. You fire an orb of psionic energy fueled by your life force at a creature you can see within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 1d10 psychic damage, and you can expend 1 hit point die to increase the damage by 1d10. Okay. Using a higher level spell slot, the damage increases by 1d10, and the number of hit dice you can expend increases by 1 for each spell slot level above 1. Oh my goodness. That is pretty freaking cool. Because if you want to be real risky, you could sacrifice a bunch of hit points and hit point dice and do a big load of damage with that scaling. Like, I'm not saying you're going to cast it at 9th level, but let's say you cast it at 9th level. Then it can be 9d10 base. Do some math. Remember, if you have a 9th level spell slot, actually, let's do more realistic. Okay, let's go with level 5. Okay, like a 5th level spell. So you're casting at 5th level, so you're level like 11. So it's like half of your hit dice. Okay, let's just say that. No, you're level 9. Okay, you're level 9. It's a little more than half your hit dice. You're casting Life Siphon at 5th level. That's going to be 5d10, but then you can use 5 hit dice to make it 10d10. That's average of like 50 damage for a 5th level spell. And it would, without using hit point dice, it'd be like 25. I guess it's psychic damage. It's kind of cool. Oh my gosh, there's so many things to. Oh god, I might have to make a separate video going over the subclasses. I might do that, guys, because this is getting insane. Yeah, compared to Fireball, it's probably not that much. I think Fireball is like. Also, this is on one target, though. It's a single target spell. Probably a better. Yeah. Yeah. Chromatic Orb would probably be. Again, Chromatic Orb has its whole bouncing mechanic, but Chromatic Orb would probably be a fairer equivalent, especially because it's a first level spell. But again, the Psion doesn't have that many evocation spells. So like Psion doesn't have Fireball. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they don't even have. Yeah, so it's probably one of those situations where it's oh whoops, the wrong decent for a Psion, but that's about it. Anyway, I expected life siphon to like heal you, but no. And maybe combo well with a life innervation field. If I when I do the survey, I might suggest that for life siphon. Anyway, mental prison. You attempt a level 6 illusion spell, action cast, 60 feet range, bard, scion, sorcerer, wizard. Amount of components, concentration up to a minute. You attempt to bind a creature within an illusionary cell that it only perceives. One creature you can see within range must succeed on an intelligence saving throw, or take 8d10 psychic damage and have the charmed condition for the duration. On a successful save, the target takes half damage only and the spell ends. Yeah, no, totally. Um, while charmed, the target has a restraint condition and perceives the area around its space as dangerous. To it in some way you create, you might cause the target to perceive itself as being surrounded by fire, floating razors, or hideous maws filled with dripping teeth. Whatever form the illusion takes, the target can't see or hear anything beyond it. If the target is moved from the illusion, makes a melee attack through it or reaches any part of its body through it, the target takes 5d10 psychic damage and the spell ends. I'm pretty sure it's similar to the old version. It's fine. Okay, Psionic Blast. Scion and Wizard only. Action cast. Self. Verbal somatic material. Duration instantaneous. You unleash a concussive blast of psionic energy. Each creature in a 60-foot cone originating from you makes an intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 6d8 psychic damage and has the stun condition until the start of your next turn. This reminds me of a mind flare ability, I think. Maybe that's why I recognize it. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage only, and it goes up by a 1d8 for each spell slot level. Okay. Yeah, you're basically a mind flare with this. Okay. That's pretty cool. I like it. Psychic Scream. Level 9 enchantment spell bard Psion sorcerer warlock action cast 90 feet. Components somatic, duration instantaneous. Remember, this is a 9th level spell, so you have to mentally compare it to spells like Wish or Prismatic Wall or things like that. It's a weaker Illithid though because it's only one round. Yeah, no, totally. So yeah, remember, it's a 9th level spell. You unleash the power of your mind to blast the intellect of up to 10 creatures of your choice that you can see within range. Creatures that have an intelligence score of 2 or lower are unaffected. Each creature must make an intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, the target takes 14d6 psychic damage and has the stun condition. Okay. On a successful save, the target has half as much damage, takes half as much damage only. The target is reduced to 0 hit points by this damage. Its head explodes if it has one. At the end of each of its turns, the stun target repeats the save, ending the condition on itself on a success. That seems very similar to the old one. I'll look it up real. Okay, Scream. I spelled that wrong. Yeah, what the fuck? Syllaphus Scream. I know I'm spelling this wrong. Why can't I fucking spell psychic? I'm so dumb. There it is. I'm not dyslexic, I promise. There it is, Xanathar's Guide. Yeah, 14d6 psychic damage, stun condition, 10 creatures. Okay. It's the same, but remember the stun condition is different now. So keep that in mind. Okay. Psychic Lance. I love this spell, so I know how it works. I've used it on my Warlock often. Okay, we have Psychic Lance, Reluthiums. This is originally in Fizzbands, I'm pretty sure. Level 4 enchantment, Bard, Psion. Yeah, it's more streamlined for sure. Bard, Psion, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard, action cast, 120-foot range, verbal, instantaneous. I remember in the last UA, they had it in here, and it was nerfed, and I was sad. So let's see if it's the same. I'll You unleash a shimmering lance of psychic power from your forehead at a creature you can see within range. Alternatively, you can utter a creature's name. A pseudonym, title, or nickname doesn't work. If the named target is within range, it becomes the spell's target even if you can't see it. Yep. If the named target isn't within range, or you use an invalid name, the lance dissipates without effect. The target must make an intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, the target takes 76 psychic damage and has incapacity condition until the start of your next turn. On a successful save, the target takes half as much damage only. Yeah, it's in Fizzbands, correct. Yeah, okay. What did I not like about the old version? Maybe I'm just wrong and I'm misremembering it. You unleash your shimmering lance of psychic power. Oh, maybe I'm just wrong because it looks exactly the same and it seems exactly the same as what it was in Fizzbands. So yeah. Yeah, I think it's just, I think I'm misremembering because I don't mind the naming being more accurate. That's fine to me. Okay, summon astral entity. Okay, I don't think I'll get into this one for now, because that'll take a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of time. I'll skim it, guys. Okay, so you summon something 3rd level, Psion, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. You need a gem, 30 gold pieces. So the old one, it had, what did it have? It had Crystal Strike, So a crystal entity, ectoplasmic entity, and ghostly entity were the options. It's the same in that way. Does it have? Is there like? Yeah, this is probably pretty similar. The stat block AC 11 plus everything seems the same so far. Crystal strike, melee attack, crystal entity only. 1d10 plus 3 spells damage. Yeah, ectoplasmic splash, ectoplasmic entity only, range attack. Yeah, they have shard swarm, shard swarm. Yeah, if there's some small thing that's different, it's not very noticeable. There's probably some small different thing, but it seems almost the same. Okay, Tasha's Mind Whip. Okay, now I remember. This was the one that they nerfed. They nerfed Tasha's Mind Whip, and that's what I was mad about in the last UA. It wasn't Psychic Lance. Okay. You psychically lash out, but I think I wasn't that upset. I think other content creators were more upset than I was about it because it was still pretty good, if I'm remembering right. So let's look at the one in the UA. You can't make opportunity attacks until the end of it. Can't make opportunity attacks till the end of its next turn. Moreover, on its next turn, it can take either an action or a bonus action, not both. On a successful save, the target takes half damage only. 3d6 psychic damage. Yeah, I think it used to say it can't make reactions, and now it just says it can't make opportunity attacks. And I think that was the nerf. What does it say now? So failsafe takes 3d6 psychic damage. Can't make opportunity attacks till the end of its next turn. On its next turn, it must choose whether it gets. Oh yeah, and in this version, the last one that I didn't like. Okay, I now know. Okay, so in the original Tasha's Mind Whip, it was can't make reactions. It also has to choose to move, take an action, or a bonus action, not both. The updated version in the first UA, it took away in that list of things it has to choose from, it took away movement. So it had to it could move no matter what. This yeah, it could still move. This updated version that they just came out with, they added back move. Good. I like that. I'm fine with them still being able to do reactions that aren't opportunity attacks. A lot of monsters don't even have reactions anyway. So yeah, that's fine. I like it. It's basically the same as the original, just slightly different. Okay. Telekinetic Crush level 3 transmutation. Scion Sorcerer Warlock. You create a field of crushing telekinetic force in a 30-foot cube within range. Each creature in the area must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, the target takes 5d6 force damage and has the prone condition. On a successful save, the target takes half as much damage only. I like it. I like it a lot. Actually, Caden, that's no longer the case. That was true in the playtest, but if you look at the new monster manual, they changed that. It's back to the old way legendary actions. So yeah. There was that early dragon stat block, like ancient green dragon stat block, but they actually changed it by the time of full release. So yeah. This seems fine, and I don't think it changed much. If it did, it's not anything noticeable. I like this new spell. It's pretty cool. Okay. Telekinetic Fling. This is the cantrip that Scions exclusively get. Okay, action, 60-foot range. Thematic components, which you ignore anyway, because you're a Scion. An instantaneous. Choose one non-magical object weighing 1 to 5 pounds within 10 feet of you that isn't being worn or carried. Within 10 feet of you that isn't being worn or carried to breathe in psionic energy. And fire at a creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 1d10 force damage. On a hit or miss, the object falls to the ground undamaged. That seems exactly the same. Then we have level 6 Thought Form. Level 6 Transmutation. Scion exclusive. Bonus action. Range of Self. Verbal and material components. The material component is brain matter in a vessel worth 500 gold pieces. Interesting. Duration concentration up to 1 minute. Well, it's because telekinetic fling is a cantrip, whereas catapult is I think it's a second level spell. It's at least, it might be a first level spell, so that's why. Okay. Concentration up to a minute. You briefly transform into a psionic spirit. Ooh. You gain the following benefits until the spell ends. You have immunity to poison and psychic damage. Immunity. And you have immunity to the exhaustion condition. Ooh, you are a nightmare for night flares. Night flares. No, for mind flares. Because I combine nightmare and anyway. Incorporeal movement. You have a fly speed of 60 feet and can hover. Oh my gosh. You can move through occupied spaces as if they were difficult terrain. Okay. If you end your turn in such a space, you can take 1d10 force damage. You take 1d10 force damage. If the spell ends in such a space, you are returned to the last unoccupied space you were in. Psionic Recharge. As a magic action, you can touch a creature, which can be yourself, and roll 1d6. The creature regains 1 expended spell slot, the level of which equals half the number rolled, rounded up or lower. Once a creature regains a spell slot from the spell, that creature can't do so again until it finishes a long rest. Ooh, that is a really, really cool spell. Wow. I really like this. Okay. It is concentration, though. I could see if you have a lot of spellcasters in your group, even casting this out of combat just to recharge spell slots. And then you get a fly speed with hover, and you're immune to poison and psychic. Huh. And you can move to occupied spaces. I feel like 6th level is a little too high for this, though. And the psionic recharge feels kind of out of place with the rest of the abilities. Feels like a better astral projection. Yeah, because astral projection is kind of a niche spell. I think I would have to put more time into thinking about this one. Definitely not a bad spell. It's just kind of seems kind of unfocused and specific. It's interesting though. Okay. So that's all the spells. So guys, I have 20 minutes. Should I do the subclasses or should I do a separate video for the subclasses? Because 20 minutes isn't a lot of time, but also it might be enough to at least go over the subclasses a little bit, and then maybe I'll make a separate video going over subclasses more in depth later. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'm gonna yeah, I might just end early. Yeah, let's go over the Metamorph. Might as well, because I really like the Metamorph was my favorite one in the last UA. So I'm just gonna go over the Metamorph, and then I'll probably do a separate short stream potentially tomorrow. We'll see. Going over the other two subclasses. I think that's what. Okay. Yeah, I'll just do the Metamorph. Okay. Psychically sculpt life in flesh. Your mastery of psionic powers turns inward. Your own flesh becomes like clay to you, and you mold it into the perfect vessel for your psionic powers. Experience in manipulating your life energy also enables you to adjust the life force of friends and foes. Yeah, I could go over the design notes. I'll definitely. Okay, how about this? I'll go over the design notes of all the subclasses. And then if I have time, I will go over the Metamorph, and we'll just see what happens after that. Okay, here are the main updates in this subclass since its last appearance in Unearthed Arcana. Mutable form. Formerly extend limbs. Now grants temporary hit points from the expended psionic energy die. Okay, I remember the Metamorph feeling kind of weak when it comes to self-defense. And remember, they also added shield to the spell list of the Psion. So it's already a little more tanky just with shield being an option now. But now they get temporary hit points when they expend psionic energy die. Okay. When they go into mutable form, I guess. Then we have organic weapons. Now regains its form until you change it or have the unconscious condition. Okay, this makes sense because it would make your limb a weapon. And then it would go back to normal, I think. And it made it so that some interactions weren't able to be used. I forget exactly. In addition, magic items that provide benefits to organic weapons will appear in future product if this subclass is printed. Ooh. That's cool. That's cool. So you can get organic weapon magic items to kind of like the wraps they added in the in the Dungeon Master's Guide for monks. Then we have Flesh Weaver is a new feature. Okay. Life bending weapons now provides additional damage without expending psionic energy dice. Dude, I bet a Metamorph transmutation wizard, like the one from the last UA multiclass, would be kind of crazy. Anyway, when you reach a Psion level specified in the Metamorph. Oh, sorry. Let's read the design notes for the Psykinetic. Okay, Psykinetic updates. Here are the main updates in this subclass since its last appearance in Unearthed Arcana. Stronger telekinesis is a new feature. Telekinetic techniques now allows the Psion to use telekinetic propel more than any other Psion. Cool. Destructive trance, formerly empowered attack mode, no longer uses psionic modes because they're gone. And you can add one psionic energy die to your spell damage without expending it. Okay. There's Free the Sun because you're basically a blade singer and can't take it. Yeah, exactly. Rebounding field grants temporary hit points whether the target fails or succeeds on its saving throw. Okay. Enhanced telekinetic crush now adds a psionic energy die expended to the modified spell's damage. Okay, cool. Heightened telekinesis now only requires psionic energy dice and doesn't expend a spell slot. Okay. Cool. Now we got telepath. Telepath updates. Here are the main updates in the subclass since its last appearance in Unearthed Arcana. Mind Infiltrator now expends only one psionic energy die. Telepath spells has new spells. Telepath Distraction is a feature replacing Telekinetic Hub. Bulwark Mind, formerly empowered defense mode, no longer uses psionic modes, and you can add one psionic energy die to a saving throw without expending it. Potent Thoughts now also increases the range of your telepathy. I remember thinking the telepath was very weak. That's cool. Scrambled Minds now doesn't expend a spell slot and allows the Psion to change the behavior of the target instead of rolling dice. But to choose the behavior of the target, not change. Okay, let's read Metamorph. So we have the spell list: Alter Self, Cure Wounds, Inflict Wounds, Blister Restoration. Spell list last. Where the hell is the Metamorph? In the old eBay. No, it's the same basically. Oh, whoops. Exact same spell list. Okay. Mutable Form. As a bonus action, you can spend one psionic energy die to psionically stretch your limbs for 1 minute. Yeah, Telepath was very much the worst subclass for sure. Roll the expended psionic energy die and gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Okay, so you gain your psionic energy die plus your intelligence mod in temp HP. Cool. In addition, you gain the following benefits while this feature is active. Your reach increases by 5 feet. Your speed increases by 5 feet. When you cast a spell that has a range of touch, and a casting time of an action, you can make the spell's range 10 feet. Huh. Extend limbs, yeah. That's the same as extend limbs. Cool. And then we have organic weapons. Okay, we have Bone Blade, Flesh Maw, Viscera Launcher. Let me read the old beginning of it. Okay, whenever you take the attack action or book an opportunity attack, you can reform your free hand into one of the following organic weapons. Your limb immediately returns to its previous form after your organic weapon hits or misses the target. Whenever you attack with this weapon, you can use your intelligence. Yeah, okay. You can shape your limbs into weapons. As a magic action, you can reform your free hand into one of the following organic weapons: Bone Blade, Flesh Maw, or Viscera Launcher. When you take the attack action, you can use this feature before you make the attack roll. Your limb retains the form of the organic weapon until you take a magic action to change it into another organic weapon. You have the unconscious condition, or you return the limb to its previous form. No action required. Okay. It gives you more options. Wait. So you take the magic action, but then it says you take the attack action. When you take the attack action, you can use this feature before you make the attack roll. That's confusing. Shouldn't it say? I don't get that. Okay. It sounds like, so you're doing two actions. Why don't they just say, why has it got to be the magic action? Anyway, whenever you attack with the weapon, you can use your intelligence modifier for the attack and damage rolls. Okay, yeah. Bone Blade, a blade made of bone springs from your forearm. A blade made of bone springs. A blade made of bone springs from your forearm or extends from your hand. Yeah, no, totally. The blade counts as a simple melee weapon with the finesse property and deals 1d8 piercing damage on hit. You have advantage on the attack roll you make with the blade if at least one of your allies is within 5 feet of the target and the ally doesn't have the incapacitated condition. Yep. Yeah, I didn't even mention the magic action before. Yeah, I don't understand why it added that. Okay, that seems basically the same as the old one. Flesh maw, your fist and forearm coalesce into a hardened mass of flesh and bone. The maul counts as a simple melee weapon and deals 1d10 bludgeoning damage on a hit. If you're hit by the maul, has disadvantage on the next strength or constitution saving throw it makes before the start of its next turn. Yeah, cool. Visceral launcher, your hand and forearm transform into a crossbow made of muscle and sinew that fires bolts of bile. The launcher counts as a simple range weapon with a normal range of 30 feet and a long range of 90 feet. Yeah, it was the same. And it deals 1d6 acid damage on hit. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, using the launcher, you can deal an extra 1d6 acid damage to the target. Wait, what? Okay, so once per turn, you can add extra damage. Okay. And level 6, you get extra attack. You can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. In addition, you can use one of your Psion cantrips as a casting out of an action in place of one of those attacks. Yep. Yeah, it's the same. Flesh Weaver. So this is the new one they added, I think, in the design notes. Yeah, brand new feature. Okay. When you use mutable form, you can expend an additional psionic energy die to gain the following benefits while this feature is active. Organic defense. You gain a +2 bonus to AC. Perfect. Really nice to see that. Empowered healing. When you cast a spell with a spell slot that restores hit points to one or more creatures, you can expend one psionic energy die, roll it, and add the number rolled to the number of hit points regained. Okay. Or is quickened healing. And yeah, they get cure wounds, so that's pretty good. They also have mass cure wounds. So yeah, that's pretty decent. Okay, improved mutable form, level 10. When you use mutable form, the duration increases to 10 minutes and you gain one of the following benefits of your choice, the effects of which last until mutable form ends. You have advantage on constitution saving throws to maintain concentration on spells. Oh no, to maintain concentration. In addition, choose one of the following damage types: acid, bludgeoning, cold, fire, lightning, piercing, poison, slashing, or thunder. You gain a resistance to the chosen damage type. Those are some good ones. Most generic situations, you probably go bludgeoning just because it's one of the most common types. But, you know, if you see what you're about to fight, you might choose like slashing or fire, you know, whatever you're fighting. So that's cool. Superior stride. While you aren't wearing armor, you can take the dash action as a bonus action. And you have a climb speed and swim speed equal to your speed. Okay. Unnatural flexibility. You gain a +1 bonus to AC, and your body, along with any equipment you're wearing or carrying, become pliable. You can move through any space as narrow as 1 inch and can spend 5 feet of movement to escape from non-magical restraints or in the grapple condition. That seems very similar to the old version. Yeah, it's basically the same. Oh, also, unnatural flexibility gave you a bonus to AC, and now that is within Flesh Weaver. Actually, no, it stacks, kind of. Now you can get up to 3. It got nerfed, but then Flesh Weaver AC was added. So normally you got +2 bonus to AC, but you didn't have an AC bonus anywhere else. Now you have +2 bonus to AC immutable form, but you can also get another +1 with this. So yeah. And then we have life. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. We have life bending weapons. Let's read the old one real quick. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with your organic weapon, you can expend 1 psionic energy dice and roll it. Each creature of your choice in a 10-foot emanation originating from you regains hit points equal to the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Additionally, one creature of your choice in that area takes necrotic damage equal to the number rolled. Okay. The new version. Your weapon becomes wreathed in negative energy, and you radiate life mending psionic energy. When you hit a target with an attack roll using an organic weapon, roll 1 psionic energy die. The target takes extra necrotic damage equal to the number rolled. This roll does not expend the die. Alternatively, you can hit a creature with your organic weapon. You can instead expend 1 psionic energy die and roll it. The target takes extra necrotic damage equals to the roll. And each creature of your choice in a 30-foot emanation originating from you regains hit points equal to the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until the start of your next turn. But remember, you do have mage armor that you can cast on yourself. And then you also have shield now. Okay, so what is the difference? So it seems like the basic difference is the old version, you hit a creature, expends a die, psionic energy die. Creatures within a 10-foot emanation from you regain hit points equal to the roll and intelligence mod, and you get to inflict some necrotic damage on an enemy. The new version, when you hit a target with an attack roll using your organic weapon, you roll a psionic energy die. Target takes extra necrotic damage equal to the number rolled. This roll doesn't expend the die. Alternatively, okay, so yeah. Yeah, so it seems like okay, this is what it is. You can use this every turn without expending a psionic energy dice if you just want to deal the damage. Every freaking turn. You can do psionic energy die worth of necrotic damage. But if you want to expend a psionic energy die, you can then also heal people. You can do an AoE heal equal to the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. And that does cost a psionic energy die. That's the difference. Which is pretty cool, honestly. Okay, guys, so this is what I'm going to do. So last time I streamed, I took this stream and I made it into a video and I posted it as a separate video. I'm going to do the exact same thing with this one. And I'll post it later as a full video. But I'm going to add my reaction to the other 2 subclasses. Does that make sense? So yeah, I'm going to record that later and then I will probably do that off stream. But then my reaction to the other 2 subclasses will be in that reaction video. Okay. Anything that keeps your energy dice is good, yeah. So I definitely like this Psion a lot more. And thank you guys so much for watching. And if you're watching the YouTube video version of this, stick around because I'm just about to go into the next two subclasses. But anyway, all you guys, check out my Patreon down below. I come out with a new homebrew subclass every month, and you also get access to my videos early, and you get all the PDFs if you are Vanguard or above tier, which is $3 a month. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and check you guys out later. Peace out. Have a good day.